Well, right before we went on vacation and during the summer, we had some videos on talking about age verification bills that are happening. We could add Texas to there to the situation. The now you have the Free Speech Coalition is fighting back, going to court, and I keep saying this. This is going to end up in the Supreme Court. This is what's going to happen. This is going to end up there because this is a constitutional violation.
And most people say, well, no, we're protecting the children. We're protecting the children.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
When you look to the perspective that the parents are able to protect their children by education, and there's software out there they can enact into those computers. It's or into cell phones and stuff like that. It's not that difficult. You don't need government intervention. And the thing about it is, what these age verification laws are going after is they're not going after TikTok, they're not going after Twitter, they're not going after Instagram or Facebook, which technically there is a lot of porn on there, especially on well, Twitter now is called X. You might as well call it X at this point. But now, and the thing about it is, most of these verification laws are being boosted by the radical right in the religious radicals out there, like the Mormon Church, the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and the Christian Church. I am a Christian myself, and I say that this is a violation. You're going after this, and you're saying, well, we want to get rid of the porn. No, you want to get rid of what you don't like. You have groups like, and I'm not going to call them by the name that they are today, but I'm going to call them to what they were, Morality and Media. Understand the name, and this is why they got rid of their name, Morality in Media. They were the ones who went after George Carlin for, those deadly words. They went after a radio station for a conversation about those words in our day and age. Well, back then, this was in the 1970s. Well, now we could add another state, and again, it is the radical right of the Christian lobby, the radical Christian lobby, that is pushing for this.
When everything breaks at the seams, and you feel like you're losing belief.
Damn it, you just gotta stay strong when it all falls apart and goes wrong. When you feel let down and so lost, and it feels like you can't hold on. Well, damn it, you just gotta stay strong, 'cause sometimes things go wrong, and one day everything's gone, but you can make it out and move on. So damn it, you just gotta stay strong.
Well, Maine is going to be added to that listing. We've said before, this is people in politics that shouldn't be in there. And they don't understand the Constitution. They literally want to push more of a religious state, similar to what, you get in the Mideast. Because there are a lot of laws in the Mideast that basically are run by the religious sect. And this is what's happening in this country. Now, it's not every Christian, not every Catholic, not every Mormon, not every, it is those who are in groups that literally live by the book. I mean, just literally, they interpret it for their own political aspects.
Shame. Shame. Shame, shame, shame.
Shame on you.
To control the general public. These are people that are dangerous to our constitutional. Do they have the right to say, hey, it's evil? Yeah, they do. But understand is that you can't go out and try to make laws against the Constitution. You might as well just erase the First Amendment and every other amendment below it, because that's what you're doing. So let's read this off of XBiz. SWERF Democrat Christian Lobby Team Up. This is the Democrat, and I said this is on both sides of the aisle, to push age verification law in Maine. We did an article back that in, I think it was in Virginia, that we're finding out that certain politicians were making backroom deals that says, hey, if you vote for the age verification, I make sure that your bill, which a lot of people don't like, gets passed. And this is a constant happening. This is happening throughout the country. But let's read into this. Democratic State Representative Lois Reckett, I'm not sure if I pronounced it right, I do apologize, but that's pretty much Reckett, has teamed up with Maine's Christian Civil League to propose a new age verification law as the state version of the controversial legislation that the religious Republicans have been promoting around the country in an effort to reinstitute obscenity prosecutions at the federal level. Now understand, reinstitute obscenity prosecution. This has nothing to do with pornography alone. Reckett said during the 2024 legislative session she intends to submit a copycat bill modeled on Louisiana's age verification law. The bill was drafted by a religious porn addict, therapist, and legislator, and has served as a template for legislators in other states as part of an anti-porn campaign. Center what conservative activists are now referring as Pornhub laws. Now, if you haven't realized it, MindGeek is no longer MindGeek. It is now a new company, and it's now the CEO happens to be a woman these days. Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana, Texas, Virginia, and Utah have all now passed vague word age verification measures promoted by religious activists. Reckett, who represents South Portland and describes herself as a feminist, justified her promotion of the bill with arguments identical to the long-standing sex worker exclusionary radical feminist positions, condemning all sex work and claiming all porn is connected to abuse. The Bangor Daily News reported. See, the thing about it is, she has no studies on this. She's calling it's all connected to abuse. There are similar scenes, adult scenes, in R-rated and even PG-rated movies. Are they connected to abuse? See, this is the arguments that we need to have, because these people are just either totally insane, or they just literally want to become, the rulers of America. They want to take over from, and eliminate our rights and tell us what to do, what to eat, what to see, where to work, where to live. This is the mentality that they have. There's a very tight interconnection, in my view, between pornography and both violence against women and prostitution, Reckett declared. She added that the thoughts of her grandchildren have also motivated her as she works to compel each person in Maine, regardless of age, to provide their personal data if they wish to watch adult content. I'm going to read that again. I'm going to read that one more time. She added the thoughts of her grandchildren have also motivated her as she works to compel each person in Maine, regardless of age, to provide their personal data if they wish to watch adult content.
And that's nothing but pure and simple old-fashioned communism. Happens every time one of those dancers start poontanging around with those show folk.
See, this is what I keep telling you guys. They want to know who you are. You the viewer. They want lists of what people are watching. Who is watching what? You understand that? Lists. What does that sound like? Lists. Let's make lists of people that we're going to go after. You know, you won't be able to get a certain jobs because basically you watch particular things. You watch porn, you watch anime, you watch R-rated movies. You know, you read certain books, you see certain art, you go to certain art galleries. You have certain positions in politics. This is what they want to do. It is a violation of the Constitution.
Hans, are we the baddies?
I hope you guys at home are understanding this, because basically this is the point where those of us in the US of A need to band together, and those overseas also, because this is what they're doing. This is not legal by any way whatsoever. By telling someone, I need to see your ID so you can watch this, that, and the other thing. Do you trust putting your identification into a computer? People say, well, people go into nightclubs and they show ID. Yes, but they're not collecting that information. One thing I haven't liked recently is when you go to the supermarket and you go in for a beer and they collect that information. That also should be looked into, and I don't agree. Just show your ID. That's all. Show your ID. That's it. Hey, I'm over 21, and that's it. You know, if you want to get cigarettes, you want to get alcohol, you know, that's your situation. You shouldn't keep tabs, names, numbers on people. We've already gone through something like this. You understand? And we're still going through something similar to this. And I'm talking about Germany, and I'm talking about China. Look at what's going on in China right now, and what happened in Germany during the Second World War. When you start to make lists, and it's the same thing here in the U.S. during the McCarthy era. People were making lists. People were getting fired from their jobs because of their beliefs, you know, or they were being accused of things that they had nothing to do with, which is happening today as well. January 6th, for example. There are people right now in jail cells that were nowhere near Washington, D.C. at the time January 6th. I heard someone in the comments, well, they were part of this group, you know, Manson, you know, he ordered the murder. I said that's totally a different situation. You're comparing one of the worst murders in history to a situation that basically some people were trying to exercise their constitutional right, and there were those in that crowd that became selling wolf tickets, instigating the crowd.
Who's with me? Let's go! Come on! Ah!
And you see this from the videos. You know, YouTube, you may demonetize the video or try to block this video, but understand, there are videos out there saying this. Let's read on to this. Although the Democrats have largely been silent about their overwhelming support for these religious conservative proposals, which are being touted by Republicans as bipartisan wins around the country, some have started revealing the reasons behind these alliances of convenience. As experts reported, Virginia's age verification bill, which was signed into law by Governor Glenn Youngkin in May, went into effect July 1st, the same day that the similar bill took effect in Mississippi. The bill received bipartisan support, although it was later revealed, and it was also said on this particular program also, Democratic State Senator Scott Sorvel, that he had engineered a vote trading scheme with Stanley over an unrated bill. This happens in our Congress. This is the reason, and let me tell you this. There are politicians that are being criticized that says, most of the people that are supposed to be there for voting are not there for voting, but they've traded their votes so they can get what they want. This is the stupidity that has been happening. If you don't like the bill, say you don't like the bill. If it needs to be fixed, then it needs to be fixed. But if it's a bill that's going to violate the American Constitution, we should not be passing this. This should be written off. More and more politicians need to step up and say, no more. This needs to stop. In Texas last week, the state's interim Attorney General, Angela, and I'm sorry if I butchered the name, Colimero, issued a response to the Free Speech Coalition lawsuit against Texas age verification law, stating that her belief that adult content is obscene and therefore not entitled for First Amendment protections. We got that story coming up also as well. So do tune into that. We do go into her comments on that. But the thing about it is, let me put in this perspective, Ms. Colimero. Do you understand what the Constitution says when it says freedom of speech? The Supreme Court has ruled on this multiple times. Like I've always said, there's no such thing as hate speech. Because basically, hate speech is still covered by the First Amendment. If someone does not like something, this is if it has to deal with race, creed, color, they're allowed to say so. If they're a racist son of a bitch, fine, they're a racist son of a bitch. But they do have the right to object to things they don't like. Now, if they become violent, propose violence to the nature, in other words, riot, cause situations, that's a different story. That's when you go against, the Constitution and free speech at that point. Because basically, you're allowed to talk about it, but acting onto the situation to create a danger to the public, that doesn't go well. XBIS contacted the state, House, and Senate offices of the Texas Democratic Party to ask about Democratic support for the Texas law, which, in addition to the age verification, compels websites to post scientifically debunked, understand, this has been debunked, anti-porn propaganda, but all declined to answer. Think about this for example. Say, for example, because they put warnings on cigarette packs. What if it said, you may grow ears around you may grow rabbit ears. Do you believe that? Because it's written on there? I want to see scientific proof of that. I would like to see scientific proof backed by proper scientists and those researching it to back it up as well, which zero have been proven. There's been no proof because it's so easy to write a scientific research paper. It's so easy to do it without any truth to it. And there was proof of this by a couple comedians who wrote several papers. Even Steven Crowder did it himself, and they got published. Understand it? He got published, but they were fictitious. They were built on fantasy. You know, this is the situation as we have out there. People in climate, in education, in, you know, many different medical fields and stuff like that are writing these papers that says, well, this is the truth that this is happening. Well, where's your research behind it? Well, you don't have to give the research. I just have the proof that it happened. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. It's the same way that, you know, they say, well, over 1,000 scientists prove that, you know, global climate changes are caused by mankind and all that. No, that's not how it went. It was a cartoonist who sent out a questionnaire, and he picked and chose and had that published. People don't realize that happened. Look it up, check it out, Google it. Reckitt's staunch swerve beliefs has alienated her from more inclusive feminist groups like the Maine Women's Lobby, which she co-founded. See, there are feminists out there that are not real feminists. They say they're feminists, but these are man-hating women. They just literally, you know, and that's not what feminism is. You go look it up. Go look what feminism is. This is not what the feminist revolution happened during the 50s and 60s, you know, going into the 60s. You know, this is not what happened on there. There are many different things that happen, and that's not one of them. And this is the thing that they keep pushing. And you have to understand, here's the other part of this in there. When you look at the porn industry as a whole today, and even back in the 80s, I say back in the 80s because when I worked it, this was true of the fact. There were a lot of women high up in the industry that they had their own production houses. And today, look at most of the women, most of the ones that are on these websites now. A lot of these women in porn are doing their own thing. You see them on Twitter, you see them on Instagram, you see them on multiple sites, you know, talking with people online, you know, and they're doing it themselves. Yes, there are porn companies out there that are making movies that are big companies themselves. But understand, you had companies like the late Candina Royale's company who made films that were just literally was produced by women for women. I remember that from my time in the industry because that was at a time, and I met Candina back then when she started this company. I remember 3 Daughters and a couple of other films that she did at that time period. And it, you know, obviously made her money. She became, you know, she did very well for herself. And there are many others who have as well. In June, Reckitt was instrumental in passing the Nordic model law to punish all sex clients and any sex workers may rely on for support in their jobs. These laws are opposed by most sex worker advocacy groups as punitive, criminalizing attempts to decimate their livelihoods, leading to the increased police surveillance and abuse of sex workers. Understand this, okay? I do believe that prostitution should be legalized. I do wholeheartedly. And here's the reason why. Right now in New York City, and we had this story on there, and you can go out to Queens specifically. We have brothels out in the open. And these girls are illegal immigrants that were brought here purposely to make money for the cartels and China as prostitutes. Understand this. The average age group of a girl out on that street right now is from the age of 13 to 17. This has been written in articles. You could tell by some of the videos. There's a new video out there I forgot who it was, but they showed the brothels out in the open. They videotaped it. They were like walking up and down the streets. This is not like Hunts Point Market, which is basically a lot of warehouses. Not it's a warehouse area. This is in the middle, dead center, in a high volume shopping center with an elevated train, the number 7 train right above them. Food is being cooked on the outside. There's stores that are open. Men, women, children are walking these streets. A better control for the prostitution is you be able to license these women. I mean, you're talking Reno, Nevada. They've done pretty well for themselves in Reno. They haven't had the issues like in other places. And there have been other countries that do have legalized prostitution, which some of them, like Spain, are trying to get rid of it. But what you're going to do by getting rid of it is you sending the sex worker right back to the pimp.
My bitch better have my money. Through rain, sleet, or snow.
It was a Shakespeare.
My hoe better have my money.
Which was the big problem. Whether that's the sex trafficking, that's the abuse. Some of these women that end up to be strippers or they've gone in the porn industry, they do it by choice because basically they've gone through the entire industry trying to find work, trying to get through college and stuff like that. Some of them just work through the industry for a small period of time to get them through school, through college, and then they leave and move on. Sharon Mitchell happens to be one porn star who moved on and became a doctor. She worked it for a while and then got her degree. And now what does she do? She helps people in the adult industry with sexually transmitted diseases. Continuing on, that same model, Reckitt penned an opinion piece for the Portland Press Herald, lambasted other feminists for listening to the overwhelming majority of sex workers who supported decriminalization and condemned the Nordic model. In 1978, I co-founded the Maine's Women's Lobby with the core belief that women are here to live free from violence in a state where equality was a reality. Reckitt wrote, from our earliest moments, we were clear that Maine's most vulnerable need laws protecting from ultimate allowing them to thrive. 45 years later, I'm heartbroken to see the organization I dearly love aggressively supports policies embroidering pimps, sex buyers, and brothel owners while trampling the rights of sex trade survivors. Understand this, and this is where she got it wrong. Those who want to be legitimate in the business doesn't have a pimp. Okay? If they work in a brothel, it's a legitimate brothel. Similar. Now, if you're in New York or Maine, those are illegal. If you're in Nevada, where it is, you're working for someone that basically is a legitimate tax-paying business. And she's saying sex trade survivors. The only ones that are basically in there, and the thing about it is they don't talk about the ones, like I said, they don't talk about the ones in the Queens area, the brothel. They don't care about it because those are voters to their elections, because they say, oh, they'll become our voters, we'll protect them, and let them do what they want. See, they'll get rid of the regular trade workers, sex trade workers that are legitimate, but the illegal ones, they'll keep going. They don't mind that. They don't mind that at all. Disregarding both LGBTQ sex workers and any possibility of consensual sex work among adults, Reckitt's opinion piece suggests that sex work exclusively involve cis women being exploited and abused disproportionately by white, economically privileged cis male clients. See, this is the stupidity to the situation. I love when they throw in cis. You go to the cis male client. Cis, darling, from what I understand, you lived in the era. Have you not been on a street corner where pimps are hanging out? Literally. Oh my God.
I may not know my flowers, but I know a bitch when I see one.
Reckitt is in her fourth consecutive term. This is why we should have term limits in the Maine House of Representatives and term limiting from running again next year. Thank God for that, the Bangor News reported. See, this is why, when you have term limits, four consecutive terms in a House of Representatives is too long. Should be at least 2. You should be able to get it twice, just like the president. You should be able to go twice. Rotate someone else in there. This is not protecting the citizens of Maine as a whole. Because guess what? Sex workers that are American citizens are citizens. They are voters. They give to taxes and stuff because they believe that they don't give the taxes. Yeah, maybe the ones that have pimps and stuff like that. But there are ones that are legitimately business owners that does a business proper. Like I said, you have stuff on Twitter, Instagram, and many other places that, it's run by their own hand. They're saying, well, men are the ones who put. Not all of them. That's why it should be legalized to begin with. At least it gives more women and men. See, the thing about I'll laugh at this too. They think all sex workers are just women. No. You have men, you have gay men that are in the industry and straight men who are in the industry too. Have you never heard of a male escort? Have you never heard of that before? They never criticize the male porn star. They never criticize the male escort. The gay porn star, male or female, or the gay escort, male or female. Never. It's always the straight woman. What does that tell you? What does that tell you at all? It's a political agenda. It always will be. But who am I to tell you but a madman with a show?
Thanks for watching. Before you go, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and share this video. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe as it helps us increase the reach of our channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have the ability to help fund this and many other channels. If you wish to help grow this channel by financial support, you have 2 ways. There are 2 links below. One link will send you to a direct pay site where you can make a donation. The second link will send you to our gear store where you can purchase t-shirts, mugs, and other specialty items. Any additional discounts will be listed on the main page. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.